Welcome back to our ongoing Let's Play of Cities Skylines II. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gaming Trend, and I am your Chief City Planner. If you tuned into our last video, we built a small city of Duckburg and have started to populate the city with various services such as medical care, which is what that hearse, that person is waiting for a hearse. Medical care, cemetery services. We were working on outfitting additional commercial zone and landfill services, which looks like we have backed up sewage. Fun. So we're going to turn on the secondary sewage pump that we had turned off out of cost. We'll turn that back on. That upkeep is $20,000 a month. So hopefully that solves the not enough water being delivered to the building. Guess we'll turn on the water supply too. We'll have to address the financial implications of that another way. Well, one way is to build additional commercial services. Now, commercial services are best applied closest to the people who will be working there. So we're going to build some additional. We'll build out the other direction. Let's do another grid for our road system. I'm really liking this new grid system. So we're going to build out 90 degrees off again. And we will build out, not sure what it doesn't like up there. Doesn't like something though. That's fine. We'll build out a small section there, and we'll just simply extend it. So now we've got a secondary zone. I've left a little of additional space over here, and we can see what sort of demands people have in the future. Looks like that commercial zone demand is already cooling off, so we'll build a little and see how it works. But that should keep it in range of our various services. We don't have access to fire and rescue quite yet. That's really what we're shooting for in this video, is getting to our large village milestone. But we do have a pretty thriving city. We're starting to see a little bit of effect from the traffic. We've got some traffic problems here throughout some of these main streets. Not sure why everybody is piled up over here. I guess because these are higher density versus these single-family homes over here. But we might need to address this. Those are parked, thankfully. Those are not in traffic. But we do have some folks piled in traffic. Well, maybe not. Just a little bit of traffic, not a ton. Something we'll have to keep an eye on, for sure. Our population is growing, though. We are well on our way. We do have 3 available points to spend. So, should we unlock some traffic lights, signs, and road decorations? Emergency battery, so that would prevent blackouts. That would be kind of important. Gas-powered plant, cost-effective large-scale energy solutions with moderate pollution emissions. That would certainly be better than the coal plant. Water treatment plant, so treating our water and recirculating it rather than simply pumping it away. Crematorium. We have a rather large plot of land with room for 1,000 people, so I think we can probably wait on that. Incinerator plant, recycling. We'll want to keep an eye on this because trash does pile up. I do like education services. Education is the key for everyone to climb out of whatever situation they're in. So it would certainly be better to have good education opportunities. So we're going to unlock the college, and we will place one of those and see if we can get people heading to school. Education City Services provide citizens with schools, colleges, and universities. Citizen education affects their job position and the income level of their household. Citizens have different perspectives on their level of education affected by their well-being and job opportunities in the city. Right now, we just don't have a school. So there's no coverage whatsoever. But I am kind of liking taking over this commercial zone and simply using it for education. And in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So now I have this central elementary school that'll at least provide some education for our surrounding neighborhood. And I'll probably throw parks and stuff behind it. Although, yeah, so extension wings, children's clinic that'll help for injuries, and a playground. So it seems like there's actually some add-ons that we might pile into there instead of just doing what we've probably always done if you've played previous City Skylines games, which is just fill this full of random trees and shrubs and stuff. So looks like we've got some actual useful opportunities to expand now. Alright, so now we're starting to see the fill on our commercial, but we're seeing the rebound on demand for homes. People like what we're doing here, so they want to move in. Well, who am I to argue? We now have our first medium density housing, and I think I'm going to throw that behind here and along this road, and we'll see how that does. I don't want to expand too quickly. I find that expanding too quickly is a great way to overwhelm your budget. We are already running negative. We're running, what, negative 4,751 per hour, so our income, our tax revenues are just not really keeping up. We did unlock taxation. The taxation tab allows you to view and adjust tax rates and the resulting revenues and expenses of individual zone types. You can adjust the tax rate to an entire zone type with the sliders. For more precise control, expand a zone type to adjust tax rates based on individual citizen or resource. Individual citizen? Wow, so you can literally go, well, screw you in specific. That's just rude. Tax rate. Increasing or decreasing taxes can be beneficial to your city depending on your situation. Setting a negative tax rate means the city pays subsidies. This can be used to attract citizens or businesses into the city. Estimate. This is a projection estimate for monthly tax income based on the current situation. The total is adjusted constantly according to changes taking place in the city, such as residents moving in and out of businesses being established or closed down. So I am of the big belief that you tax businesses more than you tax people. I don't know why that's become a strange and foreign concept in today, but yeah, that's how things work. So it should cost more to run a business in my city than it does to live here. These are just folks trying to get by, and we're not pulling nearly enough taxes out of them. So I'm going to keep the city tax rate at 10%, 14% for commercial. That will become 15%, 15% for industrial. And look at that. Even at the higher rate, we're still less than where I live in Fort Worth, which is obscene. We have some of the highest tax rates in the country, and I can't tell you why. It's certainly not for our roads. Moving on. So it seems like we've satisfied that medium density residential, but we need now low density residential. I'm going to expand this back area here, so we're still staying within range of all of our other services, but I want to keep this 4-lane road grid kind of system here and build out what we can. And we'll just continue to build out this area and just make it low density housing. I don't know what it doesn't like over there, but that's fine. Alright, let's go with that and see what... Wow, that demand is really climbing. Let's get you some houses, folks. You'll love it here. It's nice. Come, bring your tax dollars. Alright, so we are climbing significantly on population. 186 per hour. So, I mean, that's just a hell of a lot of demand. Our trend is still about the same as it was for our money being spent, but I'm not too worried about that right now. That's going to be painful at some point, but I'm hoping I can balance it out with other things like commercial office buildings and the like. Everything else seems to be running well. And these commercial zones are all filled in. If I select one of these, and they seem to be, okay, 10 of 13 employees, 93% efficiency, 12 of 16, so we've got some demand not quite being met on our commercial offices, but I mean, some of them are just doing real well. 101% for Spendel's rides. So it seems like we're not being hurt too badly by having a shortage in the market. I'm hoping having new folks move in, which looks like that took care of the demand, should fill in the rest of that. We should start seeing that revenue climb again. And once again, we're looking at commercial area being the demand, but they're not quite done building, so I don't want to have a reaction to this quite yet. I'm going to leave it as is, and we'll see how it goes. All right. I have 2 more points, and I'm not quite sure what I want to spend them on quite yet. I don't know that I quite want to put a university out there. I haven't even put out a college yet. Education City Services provide citizens with schools, colleges, and universities. Citizen education affects their job position and the income level of their household. Citizens have different preferences for their levels of education, affected by the well-being and job opportunities of the city. So I've always looked at this as kind of a triangle. You're always going to have folks at every level, and that demand for the higher education slims higher at the bottom. You're not going to want a million people that are so educated that you have nobody to actually do the work. So there is kind of a correlation of education and opportunity. So I don't necessarily want everybody in the city to be maximum education, because then I've got nobody to pump gas. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think that there's a need for all of that, and every job certainly has its position and need, and I certainly need all types of citizens throughout my city. All right, the types of jobs available in the city and the number of open positions affect which educational services are needed. And education path is citizens schooling from the lowest level to the highest level. To fill jobs that require a low level of education, the city only needs to provide lower level schooling facilities, provide employees for jobs with a higher education requirement. Citizens need the entire education path from lower level schooling to higher education. So that's when you're starting to look at things like skyscrapers. I can't just have people have a basic what am I looking at here? The elementary school education. I've got to have at least high school education. That would be horrible if I'm not even providing that. We will throw this at the other end of the city as it stands right now, and I'm going to cut a road through this area here. A nice big road. Well, a nice medium-sized road. Yeah, I'm going to need to move this. I didn't quite center it. I do like that I can just simply pick it up and move it. I'm hoping that this will do the trick. See city limits. I think that's kind of centered. I guess we'll see. This may be one of those situations where I end up building the road and then building the school. Overlapping items. I'm aware. Okay, they want more road so that people can get to the parking lots, I suppose. Need a big fat do it anyway button. I'm probably going to have to move the high school instead. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to relocate the high school back a little bit. Just kind of stick it out of the way for now. And then I'm going to build roads in both directions. Which should make for happy school going. What didn't I like there? Oh, tail of it's right out of the city limits. Well, fine. We'll just extend this road. Everybody's happy. Alright, so now we at least have some high school education. Wow, that filled in quick. 12 employees immediately. That's good. Alright. So now we've got education level, at least 2 levels of it. Elementary school and high school. Wow, and while we were not paying attention, commercial demand went through the roof. As did housing. Just regular, run-of-the-mill housing. I don't think they're going to want to live next to the industrial area, so I think we're going to... Oh, hey, take a look. We have our first medium-density apartment buildings. That's great. All right. So I'm going to pause so I don't have my demand continue to run rampant. We're going to expand, since nobody's built here, we're going to expand this out. I certainly don't want to do that, but that's not bad. Alright, so now I've got some new areas. Man, I can't overstate how much I like this new grid system. This is so much simpler. Kudos to the team for pulling that off. It really is great. Alright, so now we've got some... Oh, hold on. We have a water problem? Not as far as I know. Sewers could use an upgrade. Alright, time to head underground, it seems. What is the complaint? The power keeps going out. We were just talking about how the power... Literally, we have so much excess power, we're selling it to other areas, and now people are complaining about the power. Alright, well, seems like it's time for upgrade to city services. Alright, so let's look at water and sewage. Okay, so we have plenty of water availability, plenty of sewage treatment. I don't know what the problem is. Seems fine to me. So I'm going to ignore that. Whatever that person's problem is, I don't want to hear it. Plenty of electricity as well. We're selling it off for profit. I don't know what the problem is. The only thing I can think of is some of these yellow ones maybe need transmission lines because they're not getting enough power. So, I mean, we could drop in some additional transformers. Transforms high voltage currents coming from a power plant, so we could definitely drop some power lines and some transformers to help with demand, because that's what this looks like, this orange... Well, no, it's orange everywhere. There's complaints over here. You know, it looks like there's just a bottleneck, maybe, or just too much usage. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the complaint is. But I could drop some additional power lines and some transformers. So we'll just run this all the way to here. If I can just connect that here, maybe. I know it's overlapping. Stick a transformer there. It's not really clear. We didn't really get a great idea of how these work. Apparently not in the water is the answer. Overlapping items. Not quite sure how this works. Bulldoze, thank you. Alright, so let's see if we can simply extend off of this. There we go. Overlapping items. What do you not like? Are we happy now? There we go. Alright, so now we've got transmission lines headed out over here. And I'm going to drop a transformer, I suppose, over here for that to connect to. Okay, so it's the low power stuff that we need to pull off of here. I've got it backwards, that's what it is. Can I pick this thing up? I should be able to. Maybe I have to come out of... Yeah, there we go. So I need to relocate it, and I need to spin it around. Because I just had it backwards, that's all. Oh, it even snapped onto it. That's perfect. Lots of little things that just work well. And I guess it's really up to me to figure out how to make them work well. Oop, go away with that. How to make them work well. I've probably ignored a tutorial or something that would help greatly with some of these things. Alright, so we'll run this to the edge of the school. And then we'll run this down the edge of the school. Hopefully tie into the existing power, which I think I just did. Yeah, that looks right. So now we have some additional power. Maybe that will, or at least power transmission. Maybe I did something. Maybe I didn't do anything at all. It's hard to know. Either way, we got power running. People are complaining about hearse services, though, so I think I need to probably take a look at upgrades. Ambulance and patients. So I'm gonna put an attachment on this and add that on there, and hopefully that will send ambulatory services to go either help folks that are in distress or, well, I guess I probably actually just added onto the wrong one. Temple, mausoleum. Oh, maybe. Maybe this is the right one. So I'll take them to the medical clinic, and I guess we'll see if they then go to the morgue? I'm not sure. Alright. That's a little unclear. Either way, I think we need to start zoning out some additional commercial space. Air is getting polluted. Okay. Let's navigate to the air pollution info, which is blinking somewhere for me to see. Yes, no? Air info, city information? No. Pollution. Ground pollution. I don't see air pollution, though. Find polluting city service buildings and consider upgrading them with filtering systems. Yep, got that. Existing industrial zones can be recreated in locations that are further away. Okay. I kind of need to be able to see where to look at my pollution. Okay, I guess I can see it. It's the... No surprise, it's the coal power plant. I guess we can take a look and see what upgrade options we have for our little power plant here. I would imagine that it has upgrades. I mean, maybe. Maybe not. Seems like there's not much you can do for a coal power plant. All the more reason to start looking at things like wind turbines. But man, these things are expensive. To get the same sort of power out of them that you get out of a coal production. So we're talking what, 20 megawatts versus 0 to 5. And these, well, you're basically for 4 of them to get the equivalent of 20 megawatts, or it could all be 0 depending on the wind. So you're taking a gamble by going purely wind turbine. It'd be nice to unlock some of these other ones, just by virtue of the fact that having some backups like solar would be really useful, or geothermal. Hydroelectric is also really nice, but we are really far away from that. Well, folks, I am sorry for your luck. I can't really help you on the pollution side of things. It is what it is. I can't do any upgrades to that building that I can find, so sorry for the smell. Alright, back to our original thought here. We need to install some more commercial space. So we're going to do exactly that. Seems like we might be able to use some additional... Yeah, we're going to kick those folks out, I guess. Sucks for that. My bad. So they're all going to get kicked out and, well, turned into commercial space. What is the complaint here? Air pollution. Alright, well, yeah. For air pollution, I'm not really sure we can do anything right now. Other than move this thing. I could move this facility over here by the landfill, I suppose. So, we relocate that. I don't really know what that is, the blue. But I can stick this way out here. I just need to get the transmission lines working correctly. But I can make it work. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'll stick this thing here. We'll reroute those commercial lines, those transmission lines that we just placed. Better pause because nobody has power right now. Okay, we're connected there. We did it under the ground. Cool. And these transmission lines, I guess we'll carry these to the road here, underground as well. I could have probably done that differently. Like maybe, you know, use the one that's right next to them. We can have a fight now with the power lines again. Alright. Instead, we will connect to power lines that are right here. That seems like that makes more sense. Alright, we'll extend the road, and that should do it. Oh, I guess we've got a sludge problem to deal with. One problem at a time, folks. These are smaller roads. Well, once again, we have the challenge with city skylines in general. The fight is always with road placement. Alright, so a little further away, we'll connect this again. We will connect those transmission lines again. Or I guess they took care of themselves. Maybe. I'd rather make sure. So we'll just reconnect them again. Alright, so that's done. And we just need to expand the road, handle sewer, and we should be good again. Okay. Connect to the sludge. Shouldn't be hard. It actually looks like it is connected, so I'm not sure what the complaint is. It does say a sludge backup though, so I don't know. Tap directly into that line. Does that do the trick? Are you happy now? Or are we just going to continue to complain? Not enough water, backed up sewer. Okay, those are handling themselves. Still some complaint about a sewage pipe not being connected. Alright. Back under the ground we go. I don't mean for every episode to turn into me complaining about the piping system. It just does seem to be problematic for me. And I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I really encourage you to let me know if you see something that I'm doing incorrectly. I really struggle with this, and I don't know why. I mean, that looks like it's connected, and yet it's not. It's just a pain. So whatever, it's connected to the road. Thank God they've added that improvement, so I don't have to fight with that anymore. It's connected with the road. Leave me alone. All right, so pollution's gone there. We still have some pollution on these buildings, but it's minimal. So this pollution should go away soon. All right. So our demands are actually pretty decent again. We chewed up a lot of money. But hopefully that will do the trick. Yep. Looks like these are still getting torn down. Rock Musician Mansion. A famous rock star lives in the mansion when not on tour. So I get our first signature building. These are unique buildings that unlock one by one as you fulfill requirements specific for each building. Once unlocked, you can build one of each of these signature buildings. Building a signature building grants you XP. Many signature buildings have a positive effect on the area surrounding it. The effects and more information about each building are shown when you hover over the building. Types of signature buildings. Signature buildings are organized by the zones they're related to in the menu, but they can be placed in any zone on the map. Each theme has its own corresponding set of signature buildings. You can build each one of these from both sets. Alright, so well-being within 500 meters. Well, I mean, that makes for happy citizens, right? Stick them right next to the cemetery. Sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. Yeah, I can make this work. I can stick this over here, I think. Which way is the front? Okay, that's the front. So we'll get that evened out. And I'm going to throw this back here. I knock that back one more little bit. And we attach that with the road. And everybody here becomes a little happier, I guess. If I can get a road back here. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Alright. We're going to move this. We'll move it somewhere else. Not going to fight with the road there. Where is the road requirement? Come on. Stick that right there. We'll try and kick off a road over to here. Alright. They don't need a ton of road, so a tiny little road should do the trick. Heather Street. Or Rock and Roll Avenue. Boom. Just like that. Congratulations. You now have a rock star living near your house. These people should be very happy. These people not so much. Let's just go ahead and help them with their predicament. We will bulldoze this stuff. I guess I'm earning my way towards an achievement, an awful, awful achievement for crushing people's hopes and dreams. These people are still complaining about pollution. I'm not sure why. Air pollution. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone though. I'm gonna let that stew. Hopefully that will sort itself out. We're still well on our way towards the small village. Not a lot left. Let's see. We need. What do we need? I guess we're there on XP. I'm not sure what the. Oh, we're almost there for the next one. Okay. There we go. All right, so we need to do some more expansions here for various things, and that should take care of our milestone. Really, just kind of maintaining the city. Here's we're starting to see people use the street signs and lights. I mean, they really have put some work into the Sims that run around the city. They do seem to obey traffic laws. They pay attention to crosswalks. The lights mean something now. I mean, I can't overstate just how much work that must have taken to go put in advanced AI for all these things. Look at that. It's now a crummy car. I wonder if all cars that size are now crummy cars. Nope, just that one. I can target that specific person. Alright, somebody's complaining about healthcare. Not sure why. There's actually really good healthcare all throughout the city. Death care, seems like there's good coverage for that as well. Not sure what the problem is. Yep, they want a cemetery. I've got a cemetery. Got a rather large one at that. See? 3 of 5,000. Plenty of plots. Plenty. So yeah, seems like just like in real municipal government, you got plenty of people that complain about absolutely nothing. They're just there to complain. Alright, I've got some weird dead ends in my city as well. I'm probably going to have to address those sooner or later, where I've got just streets that don't go anywhere other than to the end of a street. I don't mind this one so much with the Rock and Roll Mansion, but some of these other places are kind of hard to get to. And that's going to come back to bite me at some point. So while the grid is useful, I'm probably going to have to be a little careful about how I apply it. Alright. So map tiles are interesting. Looks like I can purchase additional map tiles for when I get kind of beyond my city's limits. And it looks like there's additional deposits like ore and fertile land, wood, ore deposits, groundwater. So I'll have to pay attention to that when we start exceeding the limits of our city. Right now we've got plenty of room to expand and more than enough demand to justify my attention without needing additional builds. All right, so I'm going to expand kind of out of the back side of this. This is another one of those dead-end areas that I probably should have built differently. Let's turn off the grid. Let's just go back to straight roads for now. What are we not liking? Thought that was a pretty straight road. 90 degrees. 180 degrees. Really? We're gonna have to go around the wonderful rock and roll cottage that we built back here. Fine. Oh, and just like that, we just hit our large village. That was my objective for today, was to hit the large village milestone. So you can join us again when we move from the next milestone, the large village, to looks like a grand village, which is our first major milestone before we become a town. So I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. We've got lots of stuff to look forward to. Looks like we're going to get into service budgeting, livestock farming, stone mining, finally some rescue, fire and rescue services, and police for our little tiny hamlet at this point, I guess, village, firehouse and police station, and I'm sure there's lots more underneath that. So thank you for joining me. I'm Ron Burke, editor-in-chief for GamingTrend.com. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you again very soon.